writing so many times and what I was doing. And I this Hero with Thousand Faces, one of the influential books of the world, they say. And that was about this Steven Pinker book, better because he gives examples of so many people. One example that he gives is about and this is growth delusion, and this is one more book about Steven Pinker and science tips. So again, Walter Isaacson. So if you think about it, all these books, Leonardo da Vinci, and this is also so Tony Joseph. This is early Indians. It is also about Indus. So this is that second shelf. The thing I really wanted about after clearing this examination, the one thing that I wanted was to make a bookshelf and have a place for all my books. So this was one dream come true, and and this shelf we'll go through one by one. And if you think about it, these are books. For example, I'll start with this. And this was a book, so Moss. So this was a book gifted by one of my friend, and it's a very nice book. It's about actually Nazism, or the atrocities that Hitler created, and it is through pictures. It was so it was written. So that is the gift is that it was written by a person, and he had done this all these pictures. So these are handwritten pictures, hand drawn pictures, and everything that he did, it took him 7 or 10 years, I think. So it is a very nice book and a nice gift. So this is absolutely small, and this was given to me by my professor. It's about quantum physics, but he wanted the book back. I have not given the book back. I have to give it. And this is about artificial intelligence algorithm, how it is done, and transcendence. This is a book on I think it is a book by about evolution and things. So these two people, George Cham and Daniel Whiteson, they write very nice book. And one more book is this, We Have No Idea. So these are questions, in a sense, these are written by the same people. And these are questions that everyone would want to know. What is the universe? What is the dark matter? What is the stuff that we are made of? And this is a fascinating question. And this is the thing that they address. And this is about in YouTube you would have seen this professor Walter Levin. So his book about he was this inspiration about how to make a class engaging. So that book about physics. And Daniel, so this is Thinking Fast and Slow. This is also very nice book about how we actually have this brain which thinks fast and also slow. That is, we make decision in a split second, then we have this reasoning. And this is one more book on quantum, or how this universe evolved and things like that. And fabric of cosmos, everything. So all this Brian Greene, all this is about the universe. And this is a disappearing spoon. This is about this how this elements in our periodic table. These are science book. It's a nice way to have understanding about all these things. And this is about brain, David Eagleman, how our neurons and things like that are arranged. It's a very nice and engaging book. And reality, this is about quantum physics as well. This is Noam Chomsky's book. And this is also The World According to Physics. These are all physics books, or in a sense, how this world is aligned. So this is Neil deGrasse Tyson, astrophysics. This, you would have seen this person. He gives a lot of wonderful speeches about physics. And that is the book. And this is Man's Search for Meaning. It's a very small book. I've made a video about this book also. It's a nice book. So it is about this Viktor Frankl, who gets trapped in Nazi camp, and how he overcomes this tragedy in his life. And this is about a brief history of how. So it is about all the things that as humans we have messed it up. So it is about that. And this is about the 4. So it was suggested by my friend. All these companies, so Apple, Google, Facebook, and how these four companies, the four giants which are making the world into their own place. And this is one more thing. This is choice also is about Nazi camp and how survival happened. And one more, this is about mathematical universe, Max Tegmark. This is also about this universe and how it is done. And this is one very small book. This is Myth of Sisyphus. This is so it is written by Albert Camus. It was gifted to me by one of my friends a very long time ago. This book is about suicide, or what is the purpose, not suicide, but what is the purpose of life. Very small book, 100 page. It got Nobel, but I was not able to, my friend gifted it 10 years ago, I think 10-12 years ago, but I never understood this book. Even to this date, I am not sure about this book, because these are all very dense philosophies. One more, Frederick, Nietzsche. So I very hard to understand these philosophies. It's ISIS. And this is about Maxwell Pereira. So the police. So so as I kept saying, so IPS was my dream, and this was suggested by one of the IPS officers. And this is Raghuram Rajan's Fault Lines. This is a book about 2008 crisis. So anyone who wants to know how this crisis happened or why it happened, they can go through it. And this is Sebastian and Sons and Robin. So this is a book about organizational behavior, so psychology. This is a book about that. And we'll go to the next. So next shelf is so we'll see this shelf. And next shelf is this. It's a book about Akbar. So Iram Mukhoti. This is a very elaborate way of detailing Akbar's life, and this is Theory of Everything, or sorry, The Dawn of Everything. Sorry, Theory of Everything is something different. The Dawn of Everything. And this Daniel Graeber. He's a person. So he's a person, anthropologist. He's a person who actually gives not the same theory as everyone. He actually gives a different picture about anthropology and evolution. This is Chennai. It's about Chennai. It was a nice book written by I think Sriram. You would have seen the videos in YouTube also. And this book, if you have Daniel Ergin, so New Map. If you have seen the previous things in the previous shelf, there was a book called as Quest. And this Daniel Ergin is a person who writes about geopolitics. This is about the reason. So in fact, this is a book, it came last year, and he has detailed how this Ukraine-Russia crisis might happen, or how this was in the precipice or about to happen. So it's a nice thing. And this is Persianate Age, or about our medieval India. This is Fyodor Dostoevsky's book. It's a very heavy book, 900,000 pages book. Very what to say, he writes well, but there are so many characters, and I have not finished this book at all. I think I am halfway there, but very hard to remember all the characters. This is about Lights Out, suggested by Bill Gates, and this is about the history of Arabs. And this is a Bhagat Singh book. If you have seen that shelf, there was a book on the prison diary of Bhagat Singh. This is one more book about that. This is Denial of Death. So this is one of the famous book in, I think, 1970s book. Rare. I couldn't get this book. It's about it's a very fun, it's a philosophical book, but it's a fun way of looking at all the things that we do. The author says that all the fighting and everything that we do, all these I am this great, I am that great, all these things, why we do is because of fear of death. That is what he says. And this is one more book about written by Walter Isaacson. And this is a book written by Joseph Stiglitz about inequality. He's a Nobel Prize winner. And this is about billionaire Raj. So this is if you have seen the in Netflix, there is one there is a series, Billionaire Raj, all the people. So post 2008, many of high valued net individuals, they actually got a lot of loan and they escaped. So it's about them, and this is about uncertain glory. So my hobby was reading books. So it's a book written by Amartya Sen. So what I did was I wanted to say his name in interview. So and it is also suggested for sociology. Sociology option, anyone is there. So this uncertain glory is suggested. So I wanted to say his name as a favorite author in interview. So I read all these things during that interview. This is a philosophy book, Evolution of Philosophy, and our Constitution, Subhash Kashyap. So it's one more book. Currency War, it's a very nice, good way, in the sense this currency war between USA and China, how it is. And this is Daniel Goleman's book, Emotional Intelligence. We have this topic in GS paper 4. So this is the concept, how he evolved that concept, and there is a emotional intelligence competence framework that he gives. Very detailedly he writes, and this is that book. And this is a book about Republic, Plato. All these are philosophies. This Sophie's World you can read. Anyone who wants to check out the philosophy of the world, how it evolved, Plato, Aristotle, and to know simple things. If you want to know how what really they meant and want to understand complex philosophy, this book is a very wonderful book. And this is Michael Sandel. This you would have seen. His videos are there. So one of the best professors and lectures that I have seen. So I always get fascinated by his lectures. So I wanted to read his book. So it's about justice and righteous mind. This is also one book which actually says how very good people, this is the title itself, is that why good people are divided by religion and politics. That in a sense, why this whole thing, this thing about left, right, how it all came, what is that. And range, this book by David Epstein, if you think about it, it gives, we usually think that success comes to in only one way, but that book details a way that tells that everyone can be successful. It is not necessarily you have to be very arrogant, or you have to dishonor people, or you have to be thinking about only yourself. It is not like that, because he gives examples of so many people. One example that he gives is about Roger Federer. So how he likes different things. He's not focused on only tennis, or how he was not focused on only tennis. He had a lot of other things as well. So it is like this, having emotional intelligence. So this book talks about that. And this is Growth Delusion. And this is one more book about Steven Pinker. And it was suggested by Bill Gates. So whatever book Bill Gates suggests, I usually take that. And this book is also a chronicle of how our world is evolving in a correct manner. Think again. This book also I would suggest. Anyone who wants to read this book, please do take it, because this book gives, in a sense, we think that we always imagine that whatever we think is the correct thing. But this book gives a different conceptualization of how we should think. We make a lot of mistakes. So how we should keep updating ourselves, and this book is about that. How we can be so many, we can think about so many wrong things and not correct it at all. So that is that book. This is Raghuram Rajan's book. This is one more book written by our former chief election commissioner. That's about a population myth. That is it is connected to religion and population. This is Tyranny of Merit. This is also Michael Sandel's book. It's about this concept of merit. So because people kept saying that merit is a very important thing, but what is this concept of merit? So the Michael Sandel, so one of the greatest philosophers alive, so he discusses what is this concept of merit and how it is absurd. So merit, that is what is the tyranny of merit. And this is the Dravidian model. Okay, so this is about this Dravidian model, rapist book, which came. Now next we'll go to the next thing. So next is this shelf, or this is Bible, and this shelf is about this philosophy of religion. So this is Upanishad. So it is about how this is a translation by Dr. Radhakrishnan, and it's a very huge book. It's very hard to read all these things, and I tried reading, but very hard to understand. It's not easy. And then history of Bible, and one more thing, it's about Buddha, Mahabharata, Ramayana. This is a collection of books that I really like. This is about Kafka, one of my very favorite author. Very complicated character. People think that he's negative, depressive, but people are not depressive. People have different circumstances in which they grow, and they give out a sense of how they grow, and how they are looking at this life. There is no one way of looking at life. This is one more book about Friedrich Nietzsche. I have never understood what he's saying. This is a nice spy. It's a spy thriller. It's about this Russian spy who actually crashes. That is the story. How he crashes the crash of USSR. It is said that this spy was hugely responsible for that crime thriller. And this is Fyodor Dostoevsky's famous book, Crime and Punishment. How the deeper understanding. So he talks about the deeper feelings of human beings. And one more Fyodor Dostoevsky's, and this is about God. And Richard Dawkins' book. And this is Ramachandra Guha's History of Cricket in India. This is also a nice book. And this first step, this book also I would suggest. That is, anyone who is having an option of anthropology, please do read this book. It's a latest. It is given the latest evidences of there is a one question in anthropology, how humans walked, or what are the consequences of humans walking. This book it gives the latest edition. This is Schrodinger's What is Life. This is the book. Schrodinger is if you think about it, Schrodinger was a quantum physicist, but he talks about what is life, and he ultimately goes into DNA. And if you have seen that previous thing that I said about Khalili's book, or Life on Edge, that is, quantum physics is related to DNA. This is where it started. So and this is a series of lectures he gives, and a very small book, but has a lot of interesting things. And this is about the myth of strong leader. That is, we think that leaders are who are strong, or there is no strong leader. Everyone is a human being at the end of the day. It talks about it gives examples of, from the past to justify this fact. This is one more book about Richard Dawkins, evolution. All these things are. This is Moonwalking with Einstein. It is about the memory techniques, how we can actually memorize things, and this language instinct. Survival of the friendliest. This is also, if you think about it, usually we think that a survival of the fittest, but it is actually survival of the friendliest. And this is the way, this is the point. If you thought about it, Richard Dawkins' book also, selfish gene, it does not talk about Richard Dawkins himself has said that what he is meaning is cooperation. So this is a book about that. That is how we evolved as a species is because of this. That is, being friendly is our character, not being competitive or anything like that. This is Jared Diamond's book. Actually, he gives an opposite view. So Jared Diamond is a earlier anthropologist. So he gives an analogy of so for example, this now the recent analogy of human beings is bonobo monkeys. We are not related to chimpanzees. We are related to bonobos, and we are friendly. But he gives an analogy of we being related to chimpanzees. So it is about that. And this is a origin story. It's a nice, simple to understand, and everything that has happened, so you can learn it. And this is also social instinct. It's about how we as a species cooperated, and hence we are here. And one more book about the brain. And this is a blueprint about our DNA, and this is who we are. And this origin book, I think anyone origin, that is how the earth made us. This is anyone who is in geography option, they can look at it. This is a book which talks about how our geography helped in the whole thing of evolution, and how we came about. It's a good book, so we can look at it. So we'll go to the next shelf. So this is this shelf is about this shelf. If you think about it, Capital and Ideology. It's a very huge book. It talks about how this inequality in society is created by ideologies. It is not the way. So we think that usually inequality, somebody is poor because there is a theory also in sociology. Somebody is poor because they are poor or they do not work. But he gives a very detailed account of the whole world. India, there is a separate chapter for India as well. Of how this ideologies or social systems are responsible for poverty. That is what he said. This is a letter from Nehru, and I had a dream. This is Kurian Varghese, his story of how he created this white revolution. It's a nice in the sense how he details how as a young person he came about with so many dreams and how he faltered so many times and he achieved that. This was a gift from one of my students. So I was when I was going for interview, he gifted this. So it was given by him. So the favorite thing. But this is a book about one written by Romila Thapar, and it is about Ashoka or Maurya. And one more book. This is a book about the history of Rome, and this is about how printing machines came. This is about the culture.